All right, evaluate logarithms advanced. Second unit, or second assignment in our logarithms and exponents unit. So I have log of base 16, or log with base 16 of 4. And here is our problem. Okay, so if you remember the last assignment, this is log base 16 of 4 is equal to our unknown. I can rewrite this as 16 to the x, our exponent, is equal to 4. All right, so we rewrote it so we can kind of see what's going on here. Well, the number's getting smaller. If I had 16 to the 1 power, it'd be 16. If I had 16 squared, that's like 300 something. I forget right now. 256 actually. So we're not going to have we're going to have a fraction. If I had a negative number, for example, 16 to the negative 1, let's got to put the exponent to the negative 1, we get a fraction. So it would be 1 over 16 would be 16 to the negative 1. So it's not a negative number. We're actually going to have a fraction out of here. If you want to know what the answer is, it's going to be x equals 1/2 right up front. But let's figure out how to solve it for harder problems. So first thing we want to do is try and get these bases, the base right here, to be the same base. So I can rewrite 16 with the base 4 by writing 4 squared. And that's still to the x outside equals 4. Now remember your exponent rules, 2 times x, or this would be 2 times x. So now once we have the same base, and this is 4 to the 1, if you don't write the exponent, it's always a 1. So when we have the same base, we can cancel the bases out, and we're left with 2x equals 1. And you can only cancel these out when they're the exact same base, and there's nothing else. If you had like minus 1 out here, you couldn't do this, okay? And then we solve for x, so we're going to divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 1/2. That's what we had up here, which I knew the answer to. So x equals 1/2, 1 divided by 2. Okay, next question. Log base 4 of 8 is equal to our unknown. So here we go. Let's rewrite it in exponent form. So base 4 to the x is equal to 8. Now we want to try and rewrite these with the same base. We can't rewrite 8 with an exponent of 4 because 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 times itself is, well, 4 to the 1 power would be just 4. So we need to rewrite both of these with a different base. They both can be rewritten as a base of 2. So 4 is written as 2 to the 2, and that exponent's outside. And 8 can be rewritten as 2 to the 3rd power. Now, just like the last problem, now we have the same base, which is convenient. We can cross the bases out, and we have 2x is equal to 3. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 3/2. Next question. So log base 4 of 1/2 is equal to our unknown. All right, so let's once again rewrite it in exponent form. So our base is 4, our exponent is x, and it's equal to 1/2. All right, so now we have a fraction over here. We can rewrite this fraction. Remember earlier, well, not remember earlier, but if I rewrite 2 to the negative 1, what that becomes is 1/2. Okay, this negative sign basically becomes a line on the top, and you put a 1 on top. So anything to the negative power becomes a fraction. So we could rewrite this as 4 to the x is equal to 2 to the negative 1. I can rewrite my 4 as 2 to the 2, with our x out there, to the negative 1. Now we can drop off our 2's. We're left with 2x is equal to negative 1. And we divide by both sides by 2. And we get x is equal to negative 1/2. Last question. Okay, log base 16 of 1/2 is equal to, all right, so once again, write in exponent form, so our base is 16. Our exponent is our unknown, and it's equal to 1/2. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is rewrite my half as a base of 2. So that's going to be equal to 2 to the negative 1. And 16, I have a base of 4 I could write it to, or I could go to 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, so 2 to the 4 power, is equal to 16. So I'm going to rewrite 2 to the 4 times x. I'm not writing parentheses this time. You don't always have to write the parentheses. I'm just going to do it this way this time. Now, once again, we have, this is a negative sign. Our 2's cancel out. We have 4x is equal to negative 1. Divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals negative 1 over 4. You can always test these answers. So 16 to the exponent, and we're saying it's negative 1 divided by 4. Okay, so that's how you would type it. 16 to the negative 1/4, that's our exponent, or x. And it should equal 0.5. And there it is. So it checks out. So negative, we'll do decimal this time. This should work. There you go. And we're done.